Hello and welcome to the Matthew Allton Art channel again. Today I'm doing another long format video. They've been a bit sparse of late. I've been doing some shorts, but I'm going to do a commission. I haven't done a commission before really, but a friend of mine asked if I would paint a picture of a robin for their mum. I think it's for Christmas. So I'm going to have a go at that. I've done a robin before. In fact, I did a robin for that friend. But it's been a while since I've done painting. I've drawn out the robin already. I don't know if you can see the lines on the paper. It's quite faint because I drew it out and then rubbed it out just so that the lines are still there to guide me. It's on Stillman & Byrne beige sketchbook paper, and I'll be using gouache paints. I have reactivated dried gouache, so I squeeze gouache into the pans here and then just leave it when I finish painting, but I can reactivate it using a spray bottle here. So I've just sprayed it a few times just now, so it's the water will be soaking into the paint fine, and I'll be able to reuse it. I'll also be using Derwent water-filled brushes, and also a couple of just normal brushes for the background and stuff, and a rigger for more fine detail. Okay, so let's see how we get on. Starting here with just mid-green for the background. The reference photo I'm using has got a very blurred background, so it just indicates varied densities of foliage and stuff in the background. It's always good to get pretty much the whole paper covered with one of the colours, and then it helps you work out the tones as you go, as I've said before, I'm sure, on many videos. I'm now just varying the greens, so you just saw that I put a more yellowy green on, and I'm now putting a more browny, darker green on. A bluer green in the top right hand corner there. Paler green, so a desaturated green, so it's got white in it there. And of course with gouache you can do that. You can put lights over darks, which is one of the advantages of using over watercolour. I've left the main shape of the robin and the fence post that it's sitting on as the paper at the moment. I think although you can paint over the top of other layers in gouache, it's better really to not be painting over, for instance, dark greens or blotchy greens when I start the actual painting of the robin here. You can see it's taken me quite a while to sort of do this background. I'm not really looking at the reference photo, it's just sort of an indication of vegetation in the background, and I return to this later on as well, so it's still not finished. It looks quite odd at the moment because of course the focus of the painting isn't there yet, the bird. When the bird is there, your eye is immediately drawn to that and sort of ignores the background. Finally now starting on the actual bird colours. Using quite a fine brush here. I used the thickest one of the water-filled brushes that I've got for the background. I'm just looking at the reference at this point and putting on patches of colour in roughly where I see them on the actual photograph. Starting with a mid-tone brown sort of thing at the back there for the feathers and the head. But it's quite varied. In parts it's grey and got lots of white in it. And some parts are even black under the wings, for instance. So you'll see that I build it up gradually by adding lights and darks from that mid sort of tone. I've gone down to the smallest brush that I've got here, and I'm just trying to indicate the feathers. They're so tiny that you can't really indicate individual feathers, to be honest. But if you put the brush strokes on in the direction that the feathers grow, it's surprising how realistic it will look. Now I'm using the smallest brush. You can see that I'm working from the general to the tighter detail now. The orange of the breast is looking a little desaturated there. You can still see the paper shining through it, I think, really. So I've gone over it with a deeper red. Now I'm putting on white pretty much for the main body of the robin, but where there's shadows it becomes bluey grey. And again I'm putting the brush strokes on in the way that the feathers are growing. You see I've slightly changed the drawing there that I originally put on. I've changed the wing shape. Just observing from the photograph, I noticed it was wrong, but it shows that you can go over the top of the green. As I mentioned, it would be better not to. You can do it if you need to. Just gradually building up the definition. You can see that the white that I originally put on for the main body is now very much disappeared as I've added darker colours on top, and also whites. I'm re-establishing some of the white in the lightest areas here. Now putting the orangey brown of the legs on, the feet. It's difficult to judge with gouache how dark something will be, so you can see that I've darkened up under the wings there, and I return to it again under the tail there. You can see that I'm darkening up. You need some contrast. You need a good tonal range in paintings to make them look as good as possible. Now starting to paint the fence post. Not really painted much weathered wood before, so it's quite an interesting thing for me to paint. Much of it was bleached white with the repeated rain and weather conditions on it, but also there was some very acid yellowy greens on there from the lichen that was growing on the post. And I think by the end I've pretty much got the effect of what I was looking for. lots of weathering and cracking in the wood, which I'm trying to indicate by the vertical lines there. And that's it, signed and done. Well, this is the final painting. Overall, I'm quite pleased with it. It's quite small. It's probably about 20 centimetres by 15, something like that. It was painted to fit in a frame that I already had, a ready-made frame. I'm really pleased that I managed to do a commission. It's always been very daunting in the past to do these things. I've always felt that I need to be inspired by the thing that I'm looking at, and you might not be inspired by somebody's dog or cat or husband or child or whatever. But I've done so much work recently that my confidence has grown, and pretty much I can draw or paint anything that's put before me, or have a go at it anyway. I'm not saying it's always going to be a good result. But this, I'd sort of done robins before, so it was a bit less scary in that I'd successfully managed to do this sort of thing before. And it's quite good, I think, overall. I think the confidence has come from doing so much work, but also in my Patreon. Those of you that follow the channel know that I've got a Patreon. We challenge ourselves to do fortnightly art challenges in there, and I'm often faced with topics or subjects that I'm not used to drawing. We even do drink and draw events where somebody picks a reference and we just paint or draw from it while we're chatting on a sort of fortnightly basis. So I've become quite used to having a go at whatever's put in front of me. And I picked this reference from the internet, and I quite liked it. If there's one thing criticism I could make of it, is that the background is a bit boring and dull, and there isn't really much compositionally on the left of this painting. Perhaps I should have put some out of focus twigs or something growing up, just to have some balance, because this is all on one side, on the right hand side of the painting. But I'm being hyper picky. I think it's quite good. The person who commissioned it was happy when I delivered it, so all good. Right, well, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video of my sort of first commission. Have you done commissions before for people if you're an artist? And how did you get on? How do you struggle with the anxiety of it, maybe? Do comment in the comments and let me know. Give the video a thumbs up if you've liked it. And if you're new here, then do think about subscribing. I'm trying to get the numbers growing and want to sort of go up quite a lot in 2025. So let's start that this year, at the end of this year. Okay, thanks for your time, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.